It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for a special one-camera broadcast from the second floor Select Board meeting room at 230 Main Street here, as we get set to take you through an edition of BCTV's weekly media roundup 545 Live, where we'll take a look at the Fairpoint internet and phone outage that's hit all across New Hampshire and Vermont. Plus, we'll get you the latest update on the Fairpoint workers' strike, how that could affect this latest outage, and more. Plus, we'll talk about the Windham Solid Waste Management District and their upcoming budget meeting. Leland Gray gets set for another round of budgeting as well, and much more here on this edition of 545 Live, so stick with us. Howdy ho, BCTV. It's 545 Live's Roland Boyden here for a special severe winter weather update. Once more from the steps of BCTV's 230 Main Street Municipal Center residence. Just a quick update here as we'll break down the hourly for you. Plenty of snow and tough road conditions out there already. Welcome back to this here edition of 545 Live from the second floor Select Board meeting room here. We'll do a short one-camera edition as BCTV's studio cameras are already packed up and set to head to Landmark College as we get ready to broadcast their graduation tomorrow morning live in HD over our YouTube channel. Find it all at brattleboro.tv.org. All right, now that's footage of this week's winter weather report as some tough conditions, including a lot of sleet, wintry mix, and snow hit this past Wednesday. We were out on the steps here in the snow to gather that report. You can find more of it, including our weather details. But for this weekend's upcoming weather, we're going to check in with the students at BUHS TV, the high school's morning news advisory broadcast crew, to get that. So time to move on in the headlines here and start by talking about the Fairpoint outage. That's right. Yesterday morning, Thursday, area residents all around the region woke up without phone and internet services from Fairpoint. Now, this is actually across parts of New Hampshire as well. And with the Fairpoint workers still on strike and no signs of the company returning to the bargaining table, things could get interesting when it comes to figuring out this latest outage.
The union recognizes that in today's world there have to be some concessions made, and we're willing to make concessions. The company just has been unwilling to bargain.
I'll tell you, the support in Brattleboro is outstanding. It's warms my heart to sit out here. When you sit out here for 10 hours a day and you get beeps all day and thumbs up and people bringing you food and coffee, and just it makes you feel really good about yourself and what you're fighting for.
Moving on, the FY16 budget proposed by the Windham Solid Waste Management District could face some resistance from towns like Brattleboro, which as a hub town pays nearly 33% of their budget, and also towns like Guilford and Newfane, with new Vermont legislation changes playing a role in how recyclables and composting is handled. Folks on boards around the region are taking a second look at how the money sent to the Windham Solid Waste Management District is handled, with an upcoming meeting next week that could see some major changes.
Most haulers, as you can imagine, like single stream because of the ease of picking it up, but that's not the main concern, whether the district should be dual or single stream, because we can take our single stream recyclables elsewhere. We're already doing it. The concern is that it would possibly save the district money if they went to single stream.
Now, speaking of budgets, Leland Gray, school board members, saw their proposed budget rejected not once but twice, taking 3 times to get voted through last year. So they're extra cautious this time around when it comes to a budget. And the budget they put forward this time is a level-funded budget, despite drastic increases in healthcare costs for employees and special needs costs when it comes to those services in the schools. For more, we'll take a flashback now to this board's regularly scheduled meeting from this week, which did get delayed one day to Wednesday. We'll show on BCTV Channel 10. These are some clips pulled out by hardworking field producer Rich Melanson. Let's take a look.
How about move to approve the fiscal 2016 proposed budget as presented?
The $6 million.
Yeah, $6,943,185.
All those in favor of the motion to approve the FY16 proposed budget, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions?
Boyler's an aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously.
All right, moving on into our Commons News Report. That's right, each and every week we like to check in with Brattleboro's weekly independent newspaper, and for that you can follow along by picking up your own issue of the Commons. Each and every Wednesday they refresh on newsstands and are free, although community-minded citizens can pick up a paid subscription and help keep the paper afloat as well, or you can do what I'm about to do and head to commonsnews.org and follow along on the articles there as well. We are going to launch into the split screen now, even though we're just one camera from the Select Board meeting room, and take a look at an Olga Peters penned article entitled Emergency Management Teams Test Reception Center Plans. Human canine volunteers participate in simulation of nuclear power plant catastrophe. Now this takes a look at a test of some reception centers set up by FEMA, and how a test of the evacuation plans came out. Now, officials involved in this test did say that they were happy with the results. Key leaders of the reception center and evaluators plan to hold up a follow-up meeting to discuss the drill and FEMA's report at the Westminster Town Hall on January 20th, 2015. For more details, including some photos, you can head to commonsnews.org and check out this article for yourself. All right, time to move on now. And speaking of looking ahead to January, we get ready for the 2015 legislative session. That'll feature newcomer Becca Balint, who picked up an open Senate seat in Windham County. She was in BCTV's downtown studios along with longtime Senator Jeanette White and Windham 4 Rep Mike Merwicki for an edition of his show Montpelier Connection as they get ready for the legislative session. And Balint looks forward to her first round in the Senate in Montpelier.
It's, as we all know, it's very complicated, and to try to break it down into a few small pieces to be able to explain to my constituents is very difficult because it's incredibly complex. And so I think that's part of the frustration as well. It's just like, I just need it to be simpler. So when I go to vote on my school budget, I understand what my vote will mean when I have to pay my property taxes.
Catch more from Becca Balint, Jeanette White, and Windham 4 Rep Mike Merwicki as part of his Part 1 legislative preview edition of Montpelier Connection. Part 2 will feature his district mate David Dean as they talk about what's going on in the House. After that, we'll move on and talk politics in Washington for a moment as Senator Patrick Leahy gets set to help take the cap off of the Victims Crime Fund that was previously held at $750 million, now up to $2.3 billion. Monies that will find their way to Vermont in the form of domestic violence outreach programs and more. Let's take a look at the clip now, courtesy of Senator Leahy's own YouTube channel.
You know, all too often the public hears about victims only when a crime is committed. But those of us who have dealt with this issue know that victims live with the scars of these crimes for life. Your support, your advocacy are essential in helping these women and men and children not only to recover, but to carry on and move forward with their lives.
Just a few things to wrap up here on 545 Live, including a look back at the weekend, once known as The Weekender, a popular feature on 545 Live, taking a look at the past weekend's events. This one's put together by hardworking BCTV volunteer Russ Graybeck, who was out to get footage from a couple different events, including The Sound of Music at NEYT.
How do you solve the problem of Maria?
A gathering of Eastern European music performances at the Latches. And the Cotton Mill Open House, which included footage from NECA, or the New England Center for Circus Arts. All that footage courtesy of Russ Graybeck, putting together a look at our weekender. Just a few things to wrap up here on 545 Live, including weather, courtesy of BUHS TV, the high school's morning news advisory broadcast crew. Take it away, guys. What's this weekend's weather look like?
On Saturday, there's going to be ice pellets with a high of 45 and a low of 25. And then on Sunday, we're going to have nice weather, cool, 30-degree high and a low of 18. Back to the desk.
And that does it from this special one-camera broadcast from the Select Board meeting room here in 545 Live. We'll be back next week, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on BCTV Comcast Channel 8. We'll be back in the studio for a full edition. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us.
So I go to the gym a couple times a week here in Brattleboro and have been going for a decade. And the number of people who have stopped me in the last few weeks while I've been in my towel, getting out of the shower, to talk about property taxes, to talk about how tough it is.